All right, for our read together today, we're going to read the book Waiting for Amos. This is a really cute book if you haven't read it before. All right. Homer hopped onto the gray-brown rock. He looked with his frog eyes to the left. He looked with his frog eyes to the right. No Amos in sight. No Amos anywhere that I can see, said Homer. But Amos said he'd meet me this morning. He said to wait on the gray-brown rock. He said to wait, so wait I will. Homer snapped a big, juicy fly with his long, sticky tongue. Just then, Homer's friends, the ravens, flapped down beside him. They wanted to know what he was doing. Waiting, said Homer. Waiting is not doing, replied Jack. Do something, said Mabel. That's right, agreed Jack. Fly, or caw, or rummage. Mabel was already busy scratching the dust around the rock to see what she could find. Homer blinked. Amos said to wait on the gray-brown rock. He said he'd be here soon. Homer told them and grinned a wide, froggy grin. Soon, said Jack. You know how slow Amos is. Soon is not a word he knows. Amos probably won't even get here today. I bet you a basket of beetles. He'll be here, said Homer. Come back at noon and you'll see. And don't forget the beetles. Jack and Mabel called out, Bye, Homer, and flew back to their nest. Soon, Amanda Salamander slithered into sight. What's Homer doing, she wanted to know. Waiting for Amos, said Homer. Waiting always makes me tired, said Amanda. Why don't you go home to bed? It's a perfect day for sleeping. Besides, Amos is forgetful. He's probably already forgotten. He's supposed to meet you here. You'll be sitting on that old rock all day for nothing. No, I won't, said Homer. Amos is my friend, and he knows I'm waiting for him. See. Amanda called to her friend Florence Lizard. Homer is waiting, she told Florence. I don't know how you can wait without getting hungry, said Florence. You should go home and eat flies. She was watching a big fat horsefly buzzing around the rock. Here's the horsefly. I can eat flies from where I'm sitting. Homer shot out his tongue and swallowed. See? Homer, said Amanda, we'll bet you a sack of cicadas that Amos doesn't show up. Florence nodded as she settled down in the warm earth near the rock, her eyes closing. It certainly was a perfect day for sleeping, and Homer did feel like going home for just a tiny nap. But Amos would arrive soon, and Homer didn't want to miss him. Go home and sleep if you like, he said, but Amos will be here by noon. You'll see. Instead of sleeping, you two should get busy and collect those cicadas. Goodbye, Homer, said Amanda and Florence as they slipped away.
Okay, well, I'm going to play this video, and I think it'll help you.
Before long, Ogden came by. What's new, he asked. Nothing, replied Homer. I'm waiting for Amos. Waiting is boring, said Ogden. Try something exciting, like swimming or hopping or jumping. He clambered onto the back of the rock and leapt as far as he could. Now's not the time for doing something exciting, replied Homer. Amos told me to wait for him right here, so waiting is what I'm doing. You'll grow old waiting for Pokey Amos. I'll bet you a flask of fireflies he never gets here. The sun rose and the sun rose, and soon it was noon. Homer was still sitting on the gray-brown rock. All his friends were gathered around waiting for Amos. But where was Amos? Homer looked right and Homer looked left, but there was no Amos anywhere. Homer was just about ready to give up waiting when the gray-brown rock he'd been sitting on moved. It woke up and popped out its head. Here I am, Homer, shouted Amos. Right on time and plenty hungry. I hope your friends have brought lots to eat, said Amos. You bet we have, shouted everyone. Let the picnic begin. So the whole time he was sitting on his friend because his shell looked like the gray-brown rock. The end. All right, hopefully you guys can join us for our picnic later on our Zoom. See you then.